So back again behind the wheel of the iX3 prototype, and now we're going to test the ADAS system, which is essentially automatic driving systems. In this car, I guess it's level 2 plus, but we'll talk about some of the features in here. So yeah, take me away, tell me what we're going to do today.
Will do. So we're going to touch upon our 3 pillars, which are design principles that underline our philosophy for developing functions: smart, symbiotic, and safe. And what these 3 words and these pillars stand for, we'll experience along these exercises.
Okay.
The first category, smart. We have 5 cameras that are being used to detect the surroundings. We have 5 type of radars that are detecting the surrounding, especially in rainy situations where the camera has issues. Radars are much better. So we have sensor modalities that are redundant or even complementary to each other.
Okay.
And we also have a high definition map that we get streamed from a back end with a high precision GPS, so we know exactly in which lane we are.
Okay.
It would be really smart to visualize, even for passengers, to know what the system is seeing. It's a type of gadget for many customers. Mm-hmm. You don't need this to know what the car is doing because you feel it, and you have many displays along your head-up and your P-HUD. The panoramic iDrive helps this, but even for passengers, it is nice to see and get a feel what the car is doing. That's the smartness. We have the sensors, why not show them, okay?
Okay.
Now on the left side you see your buttons, known from previous models. This is Chi-Tech. It only shows you one button that is relevant. It's the activation button.
So they light up
as you, whatever you need. Let's do the first step and activate it.
Okay.
Now what happens is the system is active,
okay,
and it shows you by the green lights that the steering is always keeping centered. We have this little surrounding you accelerating a little bit. That's why it's showing this white carpet, and it's showing the car in front of us that it's locked in, so we keep the distance to the car in front. Now what activated also on the left side, if you take a look again, you have plus and minus. Now it makes sense to show these buttons. Before it didn't make sense, so that you adjust the speed to, let's say, 80. Let's go to 80 with the toggle button.
Oh, the toggle button? Okay.
Yeah, just toggle it to 80. Done.
Oops,
perfect. Well, it's fine like this.
Perfect.
Okay.
Should I keep my hands on?
Well, you did it intuitively correct, but let me guide you through the display.
Sure.
Now what we have, different to the previous models that you're familiar with, we show the green steering wheel, showing also that the car is controlling its steering automatically, but it also shows this to get more visual confirmation. Exactly. The white hands, if you touch the steering wheel, it has a capacity sensor, so it automatically feels by touch, not nudging the steering wheel. Just touching it already is enough to know that your hands on the steering wheel. A little bit depends on the moisture of your hands. If you're if you like lotion, then it works better. If you're the rough lumber guy, then maybe you have to grab.
Got it.
It shows you with these white symbols, with the hands that they're symbolizing, you could take your hands off. This is a European car, and we had this function, hands-off driving, level 2 plus, before in the market with a special permit.
Okay.
With the Neue Klasse, we have not only a new ADAS, we also have a new regulation, and this is essential. Only with this regulation that you comply with this one, you can actually offer a hands-off system. And this regulation is called DCAS, Driver Controlled Assistance Systems. It's a EU regulation, and you have to comply with this one if you want to drive hands-off, a level 2 plus in Europe. Since this is a European series car, almost not 100% finished yet, but quite close to it, that's why all the settings you see, all the behaviors are made for the European market. If you compare it into your head with Chinese market or even the US market, try to differentiate this, because the rules that are implied here, they comply with the rules given by the agency, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So that's why we can't animate, for instance, hey, this is a hands-free system, we want to take the hands off, we cannot advertise it. That's not allowed, but we have to symbol that you can take it off.
Gotcha. So when you get a symbol with the white hands, you can
take it off. And that's done doing it now forever until the battery is empty.
Got it.
One piece is missing. You already mentioned that you had that in your videos. It's the lane change, and you can do it manually and you can do it automatically. How about we do it manually first? Let me ask the colleague to do a lane, like a gap for us.
Sure.
Könnt ihr eine Autobahnlücke darstellen, bitte? So the colleague will do now a gap. Maybe we over accelerate a bit, or he's braking for us. And you just use the indicator as you used to flip to it to lock into the gap. okay, we're a little fast. Could be.
fast?
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's doing it. It's braking for us. It's braking into the gap. At some point, the algorithms are trained so that when you're too fast, that obviously you don't want to go into this gap, but into the one above or in front.
That's the biggest difference with what you have today, because in today's implementation, it wouldn't let me go into that gap. Like you would think it was too tight.
It would pass us, exactly.
Yeah,
So but it's still AI-based selecting a gap.
Okay.
We'll come to this point in a second what that means, but it's sort of what you already know, right?
Yeah.
So now I deactivated per default. I explain you in a second now why this automatic lane change proposal, and you nod your head and then you confirm it. On this track, the slowest lane is not on the right side, it's on the left side, because all the exits on the left side. And in these exercises, if I activate the system, it immediately wants to overtake the car. If you're driving faster, now you would, because he's driving 75 and you want to go 80. Maybe you toggle already to 100, that we're a little faster than the guy. And when you pass the person, they always want to go to the right side. That's why I deactivated. Now let me activate it.
Sure.
Usually you would always have that on. It's the last user mode. It memorizes basically. Now you get the information you can overtake, and you check if it does it again into the mirror if you want. If you wouldn't want it like now,
then you're not watching.
It would not do the lane change. Now you confirm. Now it accelerates while it's doing the lane change, and you're passing quite dynamically the car. And it does the same now to the right side. You get a confirmation, you clear the left lane, you go to the right side. If there would be more traffic now, more toy cars for us to play with, it would do this jumping around forever.
So the main concern that I hear, because I just did this video on Instagram, I told you got like 5 million views, with the lane change on a car, automatic also with the eye on another one. What if somebody just looks into the mirror, constantly, or they do this all the time? Like, how will that work in real life? Because I mean, I'm assuming at that point you just have to go turn it off, right? You turn off the eye change feature, because you could essentially get the thing and you just check in the mirror. You don't really want to change lanes, but you just check in the mirrors. Then I guess you will do the lane change then, right?
Yeah.
But
true.
you can turn it off?
We can turn it off, but the thing is, with the slider, if you don't want this, obviously, or if you have very special, like aircraft pilot kind of infrared blocking sunglasses, technically it's then impossible to see your eyes with the infrared light. It is a very powerful chip, but it gets to its boundaries because sunglass manufacturers are working against it to actually block that light from your eyes. It's all eye safe, but still
so does it do that change based on your eyes or based on the head movement?
It is actually more than this. It's AI based. So it's not only just if my gaze is in this direction, then do that. It's more than that. We are looking at the pose of the whole head. We're also looking at the state of your eyes. Are they open? Are they closed? Maybe we'll toggle to 80 down, so we can already prepare the next setting. So if you toggle to 80, we can continue in this road. So it's a combination of many things. But you are right. You can fool the system. You can pretend to look in the mirror. You actually
or like
see the thing.
To you, or like talking to
yeah,
you.
but you're like mentally gazed away. That could happen. Impossible for an algorithm to see. That is why it's still a level 2+ system. If you want to fool the system, there are always loopholes where you can do that. That's in every single level 2+ system. That's the case. You can fool it. You've seen it in the media. Even any sensor can be either blocked or worked around with. You can fool radar systems with dummy targets. We'll see that later on in the safety section. But the customer base, I mean, we've had this function now in the market in Europe since 23. It shows that people are willing to cooperate with the system. They want to not fool the system, they want to work with the system. And that brings us to a second stage, what we call Symbiotic. When we come to this, let me ask the colleague to overtake us again. Könnte das schwarze Auto uns überholen, uns vor uns bitte wieder fahren? We've done the lane change and it proposes again. Let me deactivate it because it's perfect. You do it Symbiotic, you don't want a lane change, so you simply do not look, but that you can turn your head the way you want, and let me deactivate the system. We're driving 80 now. Symbiotic means for us we work with the system as one, not against each other, not in parallel. It has to feel, I would like to use a term from Rolls-Royce marketing, effortless. It needs to be gentleman's-like. So what we already proposed and advertised a lot is very soft oversteering. We have a capacity sensor, we have a very precise sensor that knows how much torque you bring to the steering wheel. So you can swivel in the lane if you wish. to guide it around. There is no nudge that you need. There is no harsh stiffness from the system. So if you play with it now and you swerve a little bit, as you are known to this, now you did it very stiff actually, so that's I feel a little bit uncomfortable. That's correct. Then we deactivate. If you do it slightly, just do like a little offset because there is a truck you want to overtake, right? You can softly do this and let go immediately. There is no...
So you wouldn't deactivate the...
No, yeah. There is a certain threshold that you learn, obviously, and also the rules harshly imply a very specific value that we want to have when you have to deactivate, when you cross lanes, for instance. But what we...
But is it speed-based or angle-based? Or
both. It's base, speed, angle, how fast you do the change rate, so basically in the steering. Grip not,
weight, no,
grip not, but any movement on the steering wheel. You need a very precise sensor that detects how much torque you as a human bring in.
Okay.
And we have a very good one, so that's very subtle. And if you do it very fine granular, you don't even feel sort of it's a smooth let go or the system does it. So very, very fine granular shifting. But that's something you know. It's even smoother if you really go into deep comparison because of this heart of joy. It has a higher rate of computing things. We've mentioned that in the talk from Mr. Koraljovic before, and that's what you can feel here. But this is not new. One thing is new, and it's a missing puzzle piece to actually make the symbiotic way work even better.
Okay.
Gently brake, just gently brake. What do you observe?
Says this. Oh, it says active. Usually deactivates when you touch the brakes, even at just
exactly.
A little bit,
And if you go off and accelerate, you can close the gap as you wish.
So you don't need to.
You can even get even closer to the car if you want, and because you want to close the gap, you don't want somebody to cut in, and you let go again, and it softly goes back again.
So when does it revert from level 2 plus to like level 2?
You touch it.
But no, is it based like if I brake hard, will it ever downgrade to level
deactivate?
2? To deactivate.
No, well, so level 2 is you just touch the steering wheel.
Gotcha. Okay.
You just touch it, then it's level 2. You
Got
go
it.
off, it's level 2 plus.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
There are 3 clusters of mechanisms that we measured the data how people do this, and we learned it from this data. People are nervous. They touch the brake erratically many times. Do this like not harsh braking.
It's your first reaction because if you see the car slowing down, your first reaction is to touch the brake, even if the car does.
So
it
make
for you.
many small nervous touchings off.
Got it. Okay,
If you activate it again, exactly. If you activate it again, it's in standby. It automatically resumes in a second. You have to drive in the center of the lane. You have to touch the steering wheel. There it is on.
Okay.
If you do a very fast braking, but not hard braking, it's about the speed. Even if it's just millimeter, how quickly you do a surprise thing. There is a rabbit coming. Whoop, you do short braking. If you do this, off.
Got it.
And obviously, if you do a full braking now or any harsh braking, it always also goes off.
Got it.
And we've tested that a lot. We haven't seen any case where the way it's now learned from the data that it is against how people would use it. Okay.
Just give me a chance to use the phone and drive. I can turn it off.
Good.
Okay.
So autonomous driving level 2 plus. You change lanes until forever. You have the opportunity to guide the car symbiotically by acceleration, steering, and braking.
Cool.
One piece is missing. And remember this discussion we just had about the blinker and BMW users. Imagine you're in this system and for some reason you're driving now exactly the speed that you set. So there's no need for the system to overtake.
Sure.
There might be reasons, maybe this car is having exhaust smell, you want to change the lane. Make a mirror check, really actually do a check on the mirror and do the lane change and slightly pull the steering wheel. Don't blink.
So just look at the mirror and just do this?
That's it.
Okay.
It automatically blinks, but it's not only automatically blinking, it is automatically doing the lane change. You can do it to the right side as well.
So basically, looking at the check, doing the check, and then basically you just do this, and then
now
just let it go.
You did a very strong movement, like you did a whole juggle to the car.
So let's try again.
That's how you deactivate. You don't even need to steer. It's really more or less like a touching into the direction.
Okay, so let's
And you check the mirror.
It's okay, so check.
You have to really do the mirror check.
Okay. So, you have to do the
You
mirror
really,
check.
not just a fake one.
Okay,
it's
so
learned,
really
it's
gotta
trained
look at
by people that actually did the mirror check.
Got it. Okay.
And you
It will take
even
a
now
bit of time to refine
absolutely,
how you do it.
absolutely. But what I feel now, you already try to do is steering. It's even that's it.
Got it.
That's it.
Okay,
Touch.
I got it now.
You touch, but not more.
Nice.
No steering, just touching.
Oh man, that's
Why? I can tell you how that was created.
okay. Yeah.
If you're driving hands off, I'm driving like this with my hands here,
Yeah.
and I just flick the indicator.
Yeah.
There are bosses of mine that drive the opposite. They lean here,
Oh, yeah. So you can.
and they have to always touch this one. Why? They just want to apply a slightly force to this one.
Yeah.
So it's a different way of activating a change lane, but it's actually more than that. It is a symbiotic behavior. Whatever is your right mechanism to do that, and that's also clever and smart, because we have this expensive sensor. Why don't we use it?
Yeah.
Knowing that you are intending now to do a lane change, well then let's do a lane change. And never ever will a BMW, if you use this level 2 plus system, forget to blink anymore.
Gotcha.
Your blinker is safe forever. Okay, let's go to the right side. There is another puzzle piece missing for our perfect symbiotic behavior in level 2 plus. It's actually the combination of many things. So it's neither just the braking usually, it's nor the indicate like starting a lane change and then the blinker is automatically activated. It's usually the combination of both of these things. And imagine there are urban situations, there are rural road situations, but here on this highway, one dominant situation let we try out now is you want to overtake this car.
Okay.
So you will do the lane change on the left side, however you want to do it, but the purpose is to actually come to the shoulder of this car with a little bit being ahead of this car. You just over accelerate a little bit and then go off the gas pedal, and then you would go off. You're a little very fast. Let's you can brake with it maybe, and now you start the right indicator. Do the lane change, and now brake with it. Start braking, because you want to go behind the car. Go off.
We'll go off. Oh, just let it go.
You want to go behind the car because this is your dude from this other channel. Is it him? He has an M4 now.
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
Why?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, the smartest algorithm on the earth would have always put you in front of the car. You were accelerating so much in front of the car. The machine learning data tells us you have to go in front of the car.
Okay, so let's try it one more time, maybe.
But
so you can see.
Try it. But the idea is, you will always be the boss in the car. For whatever reason, no algorithm on this planet can guess.
Accelerate. You're saying, okay, accelerate till you pass it a little bit, or
whatever, yeah, a little bit past, and then
Okay.
while you're blinking, you sort of give it the information where to go, accelerate or brake. And then as soon as it's turning green, you go off. That's it.
Okay, got it.
And it smoothes it, fades in, and keeps the distance, built it up until this whatever you have set. I think it's set to medium, and that's it, and then it keeps it like this.
Got it. So the algorithm determines, I guess, at that point for you, or you still make the determination you want to go behind him?
Well, that's the thing. We found a mechanism for us to allow a closed system, which is AI-based, which learn data from any other people, that you can bring your idea how to work now in. It's not overruling. We don't want you to switch off the system, or where you feel that you have to overrule the system. You don't feel happy by this. Nobody feels happy by oversteering a system and then it beeps or you feel some force. You don't feel happy. The best thing is it immediately knows. It's your wingman in football. Immediately knows what you want to do and prepares for that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the idea of Symbiotic.
Okay, now tell me about why did you move the camera to
Well,
there?
I can tell you, the first reason is we don't have a dashboard. It was placed in here behind the screen.
Sure.
That's one reason. A main reason is we want to see way more. So the steering wheel was blocking your hands. It was blocking your upper body.
Level 3,
We have a full body detection system in here. We see more things than just the face.
Okay.
We also see passengers. We also see the side guy. So the camera sees me. It's a very wide angle. So if you are talking to me, we know that. If you're
So you will know versus you look into the mirror, you will know that I'm turning towards you.
So all this data can pull into the detection. Are you paying attention or are you not paying attention?
Got it.
A very common situation is either in urban scenarios or on highways, even in Chicago, or very often in Chicago, stop and go.
Yeah.
You hate stop and go. I hate stop and go in ADAS because it has always this Feel your body inside your sensors.
Smooth, yeah. Very smooth,
They're
yeah.
going to continue this now forever. Let's use the next cycle,
Okay.
and you trust the system and close your eyes.
Gotcha. All right,
Close your
okay,
eyes really
okay.
and feel your internal
So just close
IMU.
mine. Okay, all right.
You feel your IMU and you tell me when we are standing. They're slowing down now.
I mean, now probably.
1 second later, now we're standing.
Okay.
If you open
Okay.
up your eyes, you see now we're
Gotcha.
standing.
Okay.
They're gonna
Yeah,
drive
it's very
off,
smooth. It's
off
tough
again.
to tell,
It's
yeah.
almost impossible to tell. If you do it many times, you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
the hang of it.
I
Let's
see.
toggle down to 20 for a second there, because you
20.
got some distraction warning, which we'll get if we're below 20. It never happens.
Okay.
Good.
So let me
Now they
close
do it
my
again. Close your eyes and keep your eyes closed. And you keep it continuously closed. There,
Now,
you'll see in a second. Keep it closed, keep it closed, keep it closed. Super soft. Keep
Now?
it closed, keep it closed.
Yeah.
They're gonna drive off, you keep closed. Now you open your eyes. You get the information. The car was detected that it drives off. The algorithm wants to drive off. You are not attentive. The algorithm knows you're not
So
attentive.
the car doesn't start.
It doesn't start, but it detects you're ready to be attentive. The minute you open your eyes,
It starts driving.
it just does it.
Yeah.
No confirmation, no...
So let me try again. So
Close your eyes.
basically- And it just knows right away. Okay, and you're even getting an alert saying that.
Yeah, it just also says it. I mean, a little bit pointless because
Yeah.
if you have your eyes closed, you
Exactly.
can't read it maybe.
Yeah.
But if you are quick enough, you do.
Yeah.
Because
Very
what
cool.
many people also do in traffic is they are, closing their eyes. If you would now dig here and look for things, you are really distracted, and then system also will give you warnings, especially at higher speeds, for sure. So that we can do this exercise because we're close to 10 kilometers. So this is like parking distance and parking speed, so this is safe, which you would not do on a highway, obviously.
Yeah. Got it.
So this is stop and go. We have for urban situations also some features which we don't test here on this track. We have the urban, in this European car, the stop at traffic light if it's red. All
Yeah.
traffic lights that are red, we stop.
Yeah.
And whenever they become green, we always drive off with the same feature, if you're attentive. If you don't
Yeah.
look, if you're not aware what things are doing, then it gives you the warning to make things safe.
Got it.
These are the 3 pillars which I keep on reminding: smart, symbiotic, safe. That's a safe stream in our development. We want to use our sensors to make these things possible.
Got it.
This just for outer warning sound for the exterior. That is, it doesn't make this Hans Zimmerman sound for the
Yeah, yeah.
outside. So that's okay in this car. We are ADAS guys and not safety guys.
What were some of the challenges with this? You were talking about.
Well, the challenges in this camera literally are like pilot sunglasses. They are made because they're constantly working with high infrared inflow, so they have special filters. There are some special climbing sunglasses if you're like a mountaineer and you're
Yeah.
like above 4,000 meters. They also tend to have these high blocking infrared, and they block such a large spectrum, and they're really dark that you simply have no chance. Then the system degrades, you get the information, and then obviously we can't offer you certain functions. You have to be symbiotic and cooperative. If you don't want to be seen in this car, obviously we don't want to give you functions. We rather not have you use a flashy feature like this endless level 2 plus driving by compromising safety. That's not happening. I know that some other technology and competitors, they do it for the sake of offering the system. We rather not have that because it could lead to accidents, and they happen not with us, and we rather not have it active. So that's the limit, and you can fool these interior sensors. Obviously, you could put the trees that you have hanging here.
Oh yeah.
So
air freshener.
CDs
The
back
air-
then for
the
the
air- the air
radars.
fresheners,
Air
yeah.
fresheners, exactly.
Yeah, there are a lot of them in the US.
Yeah, you could put them there and disguise, obviously, but
Gotcha,
then
yeah,
the
of
camera
course.
with this is great.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if it notices something, basically this disconnects all
Yeah.
the ADAS systems.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, since we talk a lot about urban and closed situations, we did this lane change now at higher speed. What also is new that we rewrote these algorithms a lot more with AI and intelligent along the streamlined smart. Now at low speeds we never had a good, no good motion control at all, so it wasn't simply offered. If you do now the lane change with a blinker indicator, You'll feel now much steeper, much more dynamic. You can go back even close behind the car. Now play with it. There was an obstacle maybe detected these cones.
So
Let's do it again.
Goes,
okay, now let's do it again.
So it goes back.
You have to touch the steering wheel for a second to first go into hands off. Now you're in hands off, and then, yeah, you did it very quick. So the system wants you to be really aware.
So right side.
Yeah, and you can accelerate. And in traffic jam, you have to do this. You have to be quite close. Otherwise people would cut in. You might maybe even have to accelerate to make it even more close.
But this is the regulations for Europe, because I'm assuming the different regulations like in the US. Because I remember from last night talking to ADAS guys, they were telling me for level 3 also that. Basically there are different scenarios. Like in the US, people cut you off like this a lot more aggressive, or in Europe it's more smooth, and they need to address that.
Absolutely, but with this new regulation, we can do these, let's call them urban or low-speed lane changes on highways. You can do them. The regulations are made different. Before it was more deciding how much space the gap should be, and a little bit independent from speeds you were actually driving. And the new regulations are now made in a way that you have to ensure that the car in the back is not crashing into you, but the rest they sort of made open.
So what's the top speed that you can do this lane change?
It's from 20 to 130. 180, sorry, to 180.
It's 180?
Yeah.
Okay, why did I thought it was 130?
No, we don't.
So it's
we're
180.
BMW.
Gotcha. Okay, so you gotta go fast.
But
is it the same thing today in the highway assistant?
It's even higher, it's 210.
Gotcha. Do you have an offset at 180? Can you do like 185? Is there like an offset, or not really? It's 180?
No, so it degrades pretty much at the lane change at least.
But
it stays,
the self-driving
but it
portion?
stays. It's going into resume state. So you're like in suspend, and if you go below, maybe you want to go really fast to overtake somebody. You just go off the acceleration pedal, and you just recuperate back to your. You will at some point. At least the air will push you back. And you go to 180, and then it immediately becomes active again.
Gotcha. So the hands off is 130, but you can do the lane change up to 180 with this function. Okay, that's one to make sure that I get that right. Perfect.
But this is an interesting fact that we sort of talk alongside each other and have this little misunderstanding. Many people think in these, this is the hands off function and this is this function. For us, it's one big AD function. It's autonomous driving, one button, there is no different functions you trigger through. It's different modes or versions maybe that you would use of that function. So the pure base function is going to 180. If you're using the feature in the mode hands off, then that limits sort of something. If the rain would be too high, like very strong rain, it would windscreen wipers go on full mode, then you also deactivate. So the base system is from 20 to 180, but parts of it are limited depending on road type, what are you driving hands-on or not, and weather conditions.
Is it also the hands-free, the hands-off function? Is it also better now during rain and nighttime too? Are there any improvements there?
Yes.
In the algorithm?
Yeah. So I mean, the camera systems, the chips have been improving dramatically. Our algorithms are much more capable. We are using not only the front camera, we're also using the side cameras more intensively with our AI algorithms to take lanes and maneuvers. So that makes it more powerful in dark winter conditions. We actually still want the hands off. If those wipers are going fast, the thing is the following, and I did this literally. I did water chasing, I did like thunder chasing. I went into the thunder and I made a video to prove this. Yeah. If you film with a camera rain, the camera sees through the rain, no problem, because it accumulates, it has some filters in it, all good. But you, as a human, cannot.
You can, yeah.
What is the point of having you driving autonomous if we're not safe? I don't want you to be unsafe. I want you to be able to see what the camera sees. And if the camera is perfectly able to see the road, but you are not, for me it's not safe, let's have it off. Yeah. No flashy features if it's not safe. Yeah.
From a regulatory perspective, how do you define level 2++ today?
2+ for me is the hands-off, that you actually have a surveillance system in which in this car stems from the level 3 system we left. Stems from the level 3 system that we have. So the way we double compute certain algorithms. So the objects are detected in a redundant way by different chips, and they make a supervision from each other. On the T section we go left. So this is important, otherwise you could not truly give a hands-off. The hands-off is not just ignore the steering wheel touch sensor. That's not hands-off driving. The hands-off driving is a set of supervision mechanisms on signal level, on compute level. Actually, 2 redundant chips supervise each other. Make sure that the computation results are within limits. If there's any deviation which is strange, we deactivate. That's for me hands off. That's already the first plus.
Okay.
And because of the more technology you need a second chip. You need more sensors that you can compare against each other. So this is the first thing. That's plus. And the second pluses that you have are increasingly availability and curvatures. So if we have a very high curvature, let's say an exit from a highway, in the old systems we deactivate a lot and don't follow the curve, and we gradually increase this. And where you make the boundary, which curvature you actually accept, then is it really a turn at a 90-degree thing that sort of makes the second plus bigger or smaller, right? If the more availability you add, the more it is. So the second plus for me is like a fake one, and it is a dangerous one, because we tell the customer, if we explicitly advertise it, I'm driving autonomous, truly autonomous. And the problem is, in these cars, it isn't. Many systems, they literally, I fear, only deactivate the touch sensor. And that's the second plus problem. So you suggest that it's more autonomously doing things, but actually it should be more surveillance, because what you've experienced now, it would drive you address to address. You come on the entry, the car would guide you onto the highway, drives you through all the situations until you come to your exit where you want to go and leave it. This is a plus. So how many more situations, turns, roundabouts you want to do, that makes maybe a second plus bigger, but it's not just that you're available at these situations, you need at the same time this thing to become the second most powerful computer, the supervision of you. And that's what many systems lack. They have more availability, but this thing becomes like a little sensor somewhere hidden here, nobody cares, and it's very small and very cheap. No, this is almost the most expensive sensor now, because we want you to be really supervised and make sure that your intentions are captured correctly.
Okay, cool, good.
Safety function. You know the lane departure function?
Yes.
You like it?
Too aggressive. Yeah.
In what respect is it too aggressive?
Like, sometimes when I don't want to, when it gets close to the lane, it just.
What is the aggressiveness for you? How does it manifest?
It's the car pushing me back.
So it's the steering intervention.
It's the steering intervention.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good way to describe
Very
it.
good point. It is we love the function, but we hate the function. And the function we love is we see simply in crash reports. Sometimes if we have crash reports, we can look into the data. Like we can always, but it depends on. We don't do it with every single incident we have. But there is a department. Partially, my department is also involved to be in exchange with the agencies. So we know exactly what happens if you don't have such a system on. Very often, or almost always, when these cases are that cars are drifting off, and they say, I had my ADAS system on, we see they didn't, and they didn't even have the lane departure warning on, they deactivated it. Why? So lane departure warning saves lives, but we also see that it really is stressing you if you are intentionally paying attention, but the system doesn't know that.
Yeah, it happens quite a bit.
So it would be super perfect. I call this now again Symbiotic, our stream that guides our development. It would be perfect if we could detect your intention. What are you trying to do? And if we detect that you're trying to do something intentionally, then don't disturb.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what we're going to experience with the lane departure warning. To normalize you, let us drive to the end of this road, and then we do a 180 and come back. Okay. 55 would be a good speed, so you can try it a couple times and try to drift out of the lane as you would to, so like expect a lane departure warning. How would you trigger an like a lane departure warning? This is very stiff, actually very strong turning. Then we already now in these systems we don't.
But the ADAS is not on.
No, you don't need ADAS. We're manually driving. You drive and slowly drift away. You're doing your
slowly.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you are too firm already nowadays systems, then they overrule it.
Yeah.
You are paying not attention. You're dawdling with your cell phone and you're ping-ponging in the lane. Okay. So this is if you do it too many times behind, then the system also thinks you're like doing something intentionally.
Okay, got it. So if you do it too many times,
and if you're doing slow as well, now we're 30 in rural areas. You also cross lanes many times, so we deactivate. Let's do it when we come back again. And maybe when you do it again, do it again.
Okay, so let me try and be more aggressive.
Yes.
Aggressive at 50.
Yeah, 50 would be good. And you're slowly doing your intention. Now you do the same thing, but you actually do a lane change. And you look in the mirror, you check your view like you did with this lane change trigger, and you also slowly go over the lane. You don't get a warning.
Yeah. So it
detects your intention. It depends on on what road you are, how you're looking, how you're steering. And even if you do it very gently now, like you did it now, it's not based on the jerkiness of your steering, how it's deactivating. It's based on your intention. So your intention is you want to do a lane change, and like a BMW driver in manual driving.
So it encourages not to use the blinkers.
In manual driving. I'm from the ADAS team. We want you to use ADAS, okay? So then you never have to forget a blinker again.
Encourages you not to use the blinker. That's great.
But we save you. We save you. We save you from a disturbance, even if you forget your blinker.
Gotcha.
But it would be nicer if you have ADAS on, then you never forget a blinker. Your comment was nice. That's how it is worked. So
love that one.
we are in a city. Okay. In Chicago, we have a straight line. Here are shopping malls. We go 50. You can keep your foot on the brake. You activate your system. Click on the ADAS system. Okay, you toggle up to 50. Let's say it's an urban
50.
speed.
So you have to be in ADAS, basically.
Well, that we start the experiment here with ADAS. It's an experiment, and you just go off the brake, and it starts accelerating. You have to touch the steering wheel because it's not hands-off. We are not on a highway. We don't want you to be unsafe, and we drive towards the.
So take my hands off.
No, we're driving ADAS hands-on in a city. It's not on a highway. We don't have hands-off here.
Let's go straight into the dummy.
Well, let's see. What is happening? Explain it to me and explain how you perceive the situation. What is this for you?
Actually, it was pretty smooth stopping and it was smooth braking.
But what is the situation for you? We're in a city in Chicago.
If someone either crossing the street without looking, or
it could be.
What's your situation?
Well, my situation is the following. It's impossible to tell if you would drive around the sky. If that would be a street worker, and the AI algorithm would erroneously detect it as this is a person, the safe state, and we want to be always safe.
It's the brake,
no flashy features for compromising safety. The safe behavior is a smooth stop.
Okay.
But I would be on your side. I would pass the guy, and we'll do this in a second again. Okay. To how you overrule the system, but not overruling it in a symbiotic way. You guide the system to not crash into the dummy, but still keep the system on. We are still active. Okay, so let's turn around. Behind us, there is a similar situation. Just turn around.
Now let me ask you this: when it did a brake right now, did the camera look in the back to see how close the car behind me was?
No, but we have a very smooth stop, so that it's not an emergency brake.
Does it activate the brakes too? You can
the brake lights. When we brake, always the brake lights go on.
Yeah,
okay. So let's do this again. ADAS system on. You still have your 50. Toggle up to 50. And we go. Keep the hands on the steering wheel, it's not a hands off, but let the car do its job. You're ADAS, so you are being driven. Now, the situation is similar but not the same. We'll talk about it in a second. What does happen?
So we calculated there is enough distance to pass that, so I guess braked. And then it just so there was enough distance on the lane and went around it a little bit, right?
Perfect. Exactly. It does a little bit of brake to give you the indication there is something. You're being aware. Mm-hmm. No weird sound. It is a safe state. That's how many people react if they don't know what this dodgy car. It's not really parked, but it is a parked car. Mm-hmm. It is being detected by the AI algorithm as a parked car, but is it really one? It's difficult. I personally, in Munich driving past these cars, I would not stop at all. I would keep the foot. I would over accelerate.
Does it look at the mirror too? How you stick?
Yeah, it knows basically how much offset you can bring, and that's the point. There are people, depending on the situation, where they don't want to just give their soul to this AI algorithm, just let it go. Mm-hmm. They want to symbiotically correct it. And let's do this now with these two exercises. We go with on the same direction to the pedestrian again. You can drive ACC towards it, or the ADAS system with the speed control being set. Yeah, on the right side. Yes, ADAS on, 50 kilometers already has it. And when it starts braking, whatever you want to do, imagine this is a street worker and we can pass it. Mm-hmm. How would you do it? Okay. You can brake with it, you can steer with it, do what feels.
Can I run into him or no?
That wouldn't be not a
Will
good
it-
idea. You
will
would
it-
overrule
will
the
it-
system.
Will it let me do it? Let's see.
You do the emergency. You wouldn't have crashed the person. You like very strongly. Let's do it again with a little bit softer.
So just a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Turn
you
around.
just go around it basically.
Yeah, around it. So the idea is to keep the system active as long as possible, as on as possible. Let's do first the car and then do the pedestrian again.
Okay.
As long as possible, the system on, so that you can give it a slight impulse to feel more safe, or that have the pedestrian feel more safe, or whatever it is, and then go along your journey without interruption, without any weird.
So right now you want me to just go around it, or just
Well,
let the car?
what would you do? I would actually do a little offset and accelerate so it doesn't brake. That's what I would do, because it's a park. For me, it's a parked car. So I would make a little offset in the street to the right side, and that's it.
Yeah.
Smooth passing the parked car. That's how I would do it.
Yeah.
But other people, and we had journalists here, they would want to stop actually. They
Right,
say,
yeah.
I don't know, for me that's not a parked car. They maybe want to get out, they stop. And the thing is,
Depends. If you don't expect it, it's a different situation.
Absolutely,
Now
absolutely.
we expect it, so clearly, yeah.
exactly. And the point is, if you go off the brake, because we don't deactivate the system, it's immediately on again. That's the thing. And we can do the same here with the pedestrian. If you feel like you want to brake a little bit because you want to observe the situation, you can. Okay, it's a street worker, and you do a little offset and drive around it. That's the purpose of this exercise, how these puzzle pieces, cooperative steering and cooperative brake, come along. So we detect the
Brake a
system,
little bit.
you do a little offset,
Okay, so the car brakes, and then basically
you
goes
can
back.
control it a bit, and then you can continue your journey.
Got it. So essentially just helps you make sure that
Yeah.
you're not really touching.
But you
that
stay
person.
on.
Yeah.
There's no
didn't
deactivation
deactivate,
warning.
yeah.
I have to make on button again. It stays on. Now we turn off the ADAS because we are smart developers. We want to be smart.
Camera.
Off, perfect. If you brake longer, actually, in the standstill also would go off.
Okay, electrification. we'll have to do that.
All good.
Gotcha.
We drive now manually. Many people, when they do it the first time, they look at the target and they look at it. You're attentive,
Yeah.
okay? So that doesn't make sense. We're testing the case now. You're not paying attention really. You're driving in the middle of the road. You would hit this person. What would the system do? Okay, so we're driving towards the target, but let the car do its job.
Okay, so I don't have to
Yeah.
go around
Drive
it. Okay.
50 kilometers.
Okay.
Drive 50 kilometers. You're in the middle of the road, like so, perfect, and just continue. Like this, perfect.
Just keep going.
Keep going.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
It does a very slight notch,
Very
not
nice.
much. It's not cool for the pedestrian. He'll get the shock of his life. You get the shock of his life. But what counts is you're not paying a big fat fee, and this person doesn't have to go to the hospital. That counts. The risk is if we push you over when there is a car coming onto each other and you sort of miscalculate, that would be bad. So we only do it very gently so that we don't crash into oncoming traffic. The point is we don't hit the target. This is not a comfort function. It would be not smart if we don't use our AI algorithms to detect things, to not use them when you're driving. If you would have crashed this person, you would have been really, really mad. a 100,000 euro car with lots of stuff inside.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it save my ass, right?
But how does it determine when you can do that? If the lane was narrower, you just wouldn't do it?
At some point, if we have to cross the lane, that's in Europe not allowed. So we
It's not
simply
allowed.
cannot do it. What would we do instead? We would do an emergency brake.
Okay, so do an emergency brake. So
Yeah.
if there is,
Yeah.
okay, but you cannot cross basically the.
No. New story. How many times are you using parking assistance functions? Be very
Not that
honest.
many times, honestly.
Why not?
Just never got into the habit of it. Never really trusted, to be honest. I don't know. It's one of those things.
What is lacking, making you lack the trust?
I don't just feel like the car's steering by itself, and then I don't know. I just never really use it. I mean, it's in my M5 right now.
Okay,
So.
lack of trust, and maybe this exercise is starting a little bit critical for you.
Okay.
Okay, many people, including me, they have the issue that it's too draggy to activate.
I mean,
you have
probably
to
that's why, because
dig
honestly,
up.
yeah,
You have
definitely.
rear, reverse thingy, and
Like,
before
unless
you
I
do
get a
this,
notification, I don't even think about it. So sometimes I do get a notification
Yeah.
and then I activate it. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I just hate the fact that I need to.
Imagine we don't have a
Yeah.
display.
Yeah.
The display is now gone. This is a Walmart, and you're in Germany. We don't have Walmart. This is a Rewe,
Okay.
a German
Aldi.
Walmart, and we have closing hours. We have 5 minutes, and there is an empty parking lot, and you don't want to just like park weird. Let's use the ADAS system, the park system, but we don't want to think about how to park. We just want to get into the shop. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're driving like in parking speed past these lanes there, and at the end where the puddle is, come to a standstill, and then I show you how fast in an everyday function you can activate things.
So,
Come to standstill here. Okay, on your left side, when you look at the steering wheel, you have a P button on the top. You press the P button, you activate the system, and press OK. It's on the bottom
it's not very visible, and I'm supposed to
because
be.
the sun, yeah,
Oh, okay.
and that's it.
That's it.
And you go off the brake.
Okay.
That's it. Nothing more.
Okay.
P,
That's a lot faster.
OK,
Yeah,
in the
definitely
gap.
A lot faster. I mean, I would use it now.
It's
In this case, I'll definitely-
it should be becoming an everyday's function. That is smart, because we have the sensors observe lanes all the time. Why do we need to like do any button pressing, gap selection, whatever? So it should be. It's just simply driving into the gap and not worry about it. We also use lane detection, so we don't need objects around it. It's also different to before, that we don't have any obstacles that you need, and every single gap would work now. Let's do the same exercise in a different scenario. It's the same scenario. You don't want to worry about parking. Let's drive in this little road here around the cones, and there is a M4. We're going to pass this one.
So it's M4 GTS.
Yes, and it's yours.
Wish, yeah.
No, we are living here. This is your hood. You go on the right side. It's M-Town. You go right here.
Take it home with me.
And we park next to the X2, the camouflaged one. Okay. We park next to the camouflaged one. You live here. You just want to go home. Dinner's already ready, and because we have the menu already open, it tells you already start reversing. Press OK.
Just right
That's
there.
it.
Okay.
One button. Now what it does now is it drives away from the gap. Why? Because the trajectory we learned to go faster into the gap is actually to get a different angle. So if we would have started from that position, you would have done many back and forth movements. Now in the typical 3-lane maneuver, you need a different starting angle. So that's what it's doing now.
That was close.
That is close. We made it on purpose, really challenging.
Okay, yeah.
And we want to have a few moves that you would also do as a human.
I would do a lot more, honestly. I would have not trust that angle like on my own. I would have not trusted.
And with a rare car maybe as well. Let me
Yeah.
show you now what I'm disguising, because you said something in the beginning, you were nervous. Obviously, we need to show you what has happening. We are. I didn't want to show you this to not be distracted.
Okay.
To get the message, you can fully use everyday parking in the new Neue Klasse by just the steering wheel, all along the driver side. A little tiny display, just enough to see, do you want to start parking? Yes, go. Not that, no fiddling in the display. It is obviously nice and helpful to see what is happening, no doubt.
Yeah.
Let's do another experiment. Let's buckle off, and you open the door and pretend you're really leaving the car. Let's not leave the car to save some time, but imagine you would leave the car. You come in again, so you open up the door,
Close it.
you close it, you buckle on, you go on the brake, the car goes on, you press the P button, leave the parking space, yes, press OK. And you go off the brake. So when you usually come to a car, what you have to do is when you go in, you press the start button.
Yeah.
Why do you press the start button? We don't want you to press the start button. How about we press the button that already starts the exit maneuver if you want? So it's the P and the OK button for confirmation. And now it's done. and you just grab the steering wheel as it is and you just accelerate away. Nothing to touch. So do it. Take the steering wheel and just drive off. The angle's already that you don't hit the car.
So just push the gas pedal?
Yeah. Yeah. And you just drive off and get to a standstill so we can do next exercise. Okay. Come here to a standstill. But that's the idea, how the welcome and the start off of the Neue Klasse should be. If you want to use the parking assistant as an everyday function, you still have a press, but it's not a press to start the engine. It's actually already to start the drive off. And then a safety confirmation, yes, I want it, and off you go. And no gear change, no button, nothing, you just go. That's what we want smart.
Cool.
Obviously there are customers, not you, not me, there are pros. We want to be still smart for everybody. And some pros want all the gadgets, all the visualization mechanisms. We can have different views, rim views, more views. We can.
There's a curve view now.
Yes, in the curve view.
Is that new?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
wow.
see the steering wheel. If you go like this, you can actually see the.
Oh, lovely.
To not hit your hard rims, you can go to the back and see the back one. Absolutely. So we have the Pro mode. It always scans a parking gap. There is one here. But that's your friend M3. He's jealous of your CLS. Okay. But let's continue to drive off slowly. The car scans now continuously all the gaps, and it finds this new gap. In a second, it finds a brake. The thing is, our AI algorithm will still select this one because it's faster in the movement to go in. But since this is your friend's car, how would the AI algorithm know this? So you can select this one. It's the symbiotic behavior. Click on it. It's your gap. Now, your friend always makes fun of you to park backwards. That would be actually the fastest, and that's what the car would do. But how would the system know that you want front parking? You can select front parking now, forward parking.
Forward parking.
Yes, for the Pro user, and start.
HK1 is okay for driving.
And then off the brake, and it goes. And it goes first to the front to get a different angle. And now it would do it in a few maneuvers, and it would go front into this gap. And it's a German gap, so it's not really American F-150 style. So your Dodge Ram does not fit into this one.
Really tight.
But you at least, so we wanted to make it a little bit challenging.
Yeah, we need to trust the system more.
Yeah, and now with the view, you feel probably a little bit more comfortable to know what's happening.
Yeah.
And you're in the gap. Done. So this is also symbiotic to make you the boss in the car. If you now look in the P-HUD in the front, it says leave the parking space. Imagine we went shopping and came back, you're now leaving the parking space. The Pro user would now not just take the suggested view, the suggested turning out would be actually the way you came. That is AI-based, how people behave, right? But this is your CLS back there. You want to grab your second phone, I don't know what.
Yeah.
How would the system know this? You have to offer overruling, obviously. So we offer you the other one. You just click on it, start, okay.
Click on this.
That's the
or on the car.
No, on the gap where you want to go out. We reverse out. This is the way to back off in the other direction automatically.
So
you want the other direction because you want to go to the CLS. Now start, and it backs out. And you tap the brake to confirm that you're brake ready. Okay, that's it. And you keep your foot because you control with the brake the speed. We automatically make the panorama view that you get full. It's a different view than when you do parallel parking, obviously, because you need the traffic left and right and not the top view. It breaks out. It does the same thing now. It brings you to an angle that if you start now, if you grab the steering wheel and drive off, you don't hit the car and you can go. You grab the steering wheel and just drive off.
Gotcha.
That's it. So for the Pro users, full symbiotic behavior. For the everyday usage, where you do not care what's happening, we have the shortest activation that you can imagine. That would be the exercise journey along the stream, smart, symbiotic, safe.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. So this is the end of the exercise.
These are the exercises, and we want to bring through the clusters parking, active safety functions, and the level 2+. How do we implement symbiotic behavior? It should be smart, and it should be always rather safe before we risk anything. We have too much confidence that we're good enough. We don't need to prove anything. You know, we have a level 3 system with a level 2+. We don't need to prove anything, but we want to have solid experience, and it would be really bad if we had accidents. So we fight with every blood that we have, with every finger, to not have that happen. Make things safe. Use our powerful driver detection systems and incorporate them everywhere we can imagine.
All right, guys, so this was the ADAS system, a little bit long, but honestly very, very interesting and informative. So thanks for watching, and to the next one with the new BMW iX3 Neue Klasse.